Hello, hello. Welcome to our SEO and AI live stream. We stream every Wednesday 1 p.m. EST. Always anything to do with SEO and SEO for AI. However you want to call it, if it's GEO, AEO, I don't even know. I'm in Smarty. I have been an SEO for 20 years. Now I'm the co-founder of Smarty.Marketing. And today with me and always April, our director of social media. And she will have a lot to say today because our topic today is digital PR, which in our case is a very unique method because we combine a lot of things into one digital PR asset. It's 100% organic. It uses journalistic outreach, which is manual. It utilizes SEO because we want to reach visibility, organic visibility for our assets. It's LLM optimization of everything we're doing, as well as Reddit promotion as well. So there are a lot of parts into how we do it. Have been doing that for 13 years, and this year we started sharing more case studies because we started doing test projects for non-clients websites so we can share them publicly, and we also have case studies that show different ways of doing digital PR well. So why are we talking about that much? I think the first question to answer here, everyone is worried about visibility online going forward. Obviously, that is SEO that is changing, influenced by AI. Organic results are very much impacted by AI answers, the so-called AI overviews, as well as AI implications like separate projects at an AI mode. Gemini, they are all very well integrated in Google Chrome, pushing people away from search results. ChatGPT has very good chances to start replacing Google Organic, so that will be huge for organic visibility for many brands to be in those answers. No one has good answers as to how remain visible, how to build links and brand mentions that matter and place you in the training data the way you want to be there. All of those things, of course, they have many answers. I just had AI audit review with one of my clients, and trust me, there are a lot of parts to AI visibility, starting from your own website, continue with organic visibility because LLMs still search Google and Bing. All of those parts are very important. But what to do with outbound marketing? I think one of the most impacted strategies, SEO strategies at this point, is link building. No one knows if links are still needed, if they do, which they are needed, if they are, how to build, how to invest in links. Links are very hard to build. Most of them at this point are a waste of budgets and money. They do nothing for organic visibility or LLM visibility because they're just built in an old school way that has stopped being impactful for many, many years at this point. People still do low quality guest posts, paid links, link insertions, and link exchanges. Trust me, I have been through all of that through the years of me being an SEO, and it used to work. It used to work for sure. It's not doesn't work at this point. So what to do? How do you? It's not just about your website for sure. You can build for as long as you want. You can test usability, optimize, create useful, helpful content, know your keywords, provide value, but no one will come because it's still at least about, I don't want to say it's not always 30, but 30 to 50% of organic visibility. Yes, it's your website. yes, should be very well built. It should be relevant to queries and questions that your audience is asking. It should be useful, helpful, all of that. But it's still not all that you need for organic to build organic visibility or maintain it. Another problem is that for the past 2 years, if not 3, I think it's actually 3 years, everyone has been losing organic visibility. So it's not just even about building it up. In most cases, it's at least maintaining the level of visibility that you had once and your business depended on it. So what do we do? What one tactic that can help? There may be more. The one that we're using is exactly digital PR, putting your brand on top of the conversation when you are the source of research, visualization, statistics, data. You are the one that is in the center. Again, we were just talking with my client about AI visibility. That's a big brand that is competing with many other brands that are better positioned in training data than they are, even though they're a very well-established brand. There is one thing that we discussed exactly, building research studies, attracting brand mentions and links and clicks that way. And it's funny that both of us noticed in the course of several months, they were cited by a few publications according to the brand name. And a few, 2 or 3 weeks after that, we saw increased LLM citability and brand presence through all. We were using two tools. I used Peak AI for them, and they internally used Profound. And both of those tools reported increased LLM citability and brand presence just because they picked up on those according to brand name headlines from major publications. It works. If you think about that, if you want to know how brand mentions can even help, training data and LLMs overall work just like human minds. If they can recall the brand easily, they will list it in the answer. And digital PR works exactly for that. It keeps reminding LLMs in very relevant context of that brand. If you do them regularly, that is how they remember you. And anytime there is a relevant prompt, they are much more likely to remember you because you kept being on top of their minds for several months. That is very important if it's put simply. Of course, there are different ways to do it, different aspects of doing that. You want that to be very relevant mentions. You want digital PR to be very well aligned with your value proposition. All of that is also very important, but fundamentally, this is how it helps. Links from PR help organic visibility. Search visibility is still a huge signal for Google and Bing. It's how many links you have, how well you spread that link equity to pages that matter. All of that is still key for organic search visibility. And organic search visibility also helps LLM visibility because LLM searches Google and Bing. This is simply put the why. Why do you want to invest in digital PR? It's not just me saying, it's everyone saying that it is like PR is getting back into spotlight at this point because everyone is talking about how do we do this. Well, PR achieves a lot of tasks, a lot of goals that we have now. We want more links for organic search visibility. We want more brand mentions for basically LLM recognizability and remembering your brand, and consequently the visibility in LLM answers. And we want more clicks, actual traffic for people to come to our website and have a chance of buying or engaging with your brand. Digital PR does all of that. So if you were thinking, which backlinks do I need and how do I get them, this is the answer. The other part of this discussion is how you do it well. And there are a lot of, because digital power is being discussed a lot these days, there are a lot of solutions that make it very easy. You give us any content, we'll make sure that major publications link to that content. Well, we researched quite a few solutions like that. It's always, the answer is very simple. It's syndicated content, which is automated. It may be helpful, but it definitely doesn't achieve all of those goals that I listed. Links from syndicated content in most cases are useless or just not very powerful. Those brand mentions are basically repurpose the same content. It's duplicate content from publication to publication. May influence LLMs to some extent, but again, very low impact. And you really get no traffic from that, or just a few more clicks. No organic visibility, nothing. It is not useless, like I say. In some cases, when you have a huge update about your brand, some milestone reach, some new partnership, it makes sense to invest in syndicating the news, because who will else link to something that brand focused, that brand centric? No one, basically. So it's useful to some extent, but it's not solving everything that you need for organic search and LLM visibility. We do it differently. We create studies, research on behalf of the clients, and we promote them the manual way, the way that you will make sure it's so interesting that it is link worthy and share worthy and mention worthy. But unless we do market it well, it will not go further from publication. We saw that again and again. It can even be a big brand. It can be a great idea that should be very effective. In most cases, unless you put it out there in front of journalists and social media users, it will not pick up. It will not go viral. We do journalist outreach, we do Reddit promotion. The combination of that has been found the most effective. Again, I have a case study. Check out Smarty.com. This is where I publish all the weekly my newsletters, so that you can just learn the way what you are looking at, what you need to achieve, and how you can do it. The most recent case study is about very seasonal, timely content. It was Christmas movies research. Original survey went crazy, was covered on CNN, was very it just took wings. And we do an initial promotion and seeding, that is what I call it, but it went much further from what our initial outreach. It was picked up by many radio stations, TV stations, and all of that. The seasonality is a very good strategy here. Look at what holidays, seasons are coming. Prepare something fun and cool that also is about your value proposition to some way. It either solves or talks to your audience when they are trying to solve an issue. There are many ways to make it relevant but fun. Trust me, in all topics. If you think you are in a very boring industry, for 14 years, we've had the most boring clients out there, and we were always able to kind of find nice angles, interesting angles, to make sure that it is link worthy and share worthy. The key here is, do not make it so much about your brand. It is more about your target audience and what they may find interesting. There will be a lot of brand mentions, even if you do not just force it in the article, but it will be much easier to promote, especially on social media and Reddit, if you do not make it all about you or what you did or who are you or your value proposition or whatnot, calls to action. It's more about talking to your target audience, attracting them to your site, as well as making it interesting enough for people who may not be your target audience, but they write about these topics. So it should be interesting enough for them to cover that research or study on their websites as well. All the details, this one is a test campaign, so we didn't have to hide much. You can check everything, all the statistics, everything that basically it achieved every channel that it was. Everything is on my website and Smarty.com. Subscribe while you're there, because we discuss these cool tactics that still work today, and we discuss why they work today, and we also tell you how to do it, which will be the next part of this quick stream. If you have questions, please comment. We will answer those questions as well. But I would like to give April an opportunity to talk a little bit more, because she's the one who is a real expert in this topic. I am not as much. I'm more on strategy side of LLM optimization, and she's the one who actually plans and executes all those marketing campaigns that work so well. So let's see. Let's talk about how we come up with ideas for these campaigns, and the big part of that. And I will mention April will be able to go into more detail here, but Reddit is a huge step in our brainstorming of cool topics. We have been using Reddit as viral marketing platform for about 14, maybe 15 at this point years. So it trained us to think in terms of what would Reddit like. And then we go from there. Of course, we check popular threads and stuff, but that is possibly one of the integral parts of our brainstorming process as we think, what will Redditors like and share and engage with? And all other steps are kind of defined by this, because Reddit is such a powerful platform. Again, on so many levels. You need to be on Reddit for LLMs because it is being used for training data, but it's also a powerful community on its own. It also ranks. So there are many reasons for us to kind of put Reddit on top of this process and make sure that we come up with something that have great chances to go well on Reddit. And April, feel free to talk a little bit more about our brainstorming process, because you're always in the middle of it.
Yeah, so like you said, Reddit has been like our inspiration for basically the entire time that we've been doing this. We've always been on Reddit, so we were kind of positioned in a good place when Reddit started really taking off. Let's just say you have like an e-commerce brand, and you can just and you have specific products or whatever, and you can just like go to those. Like, you can just search your product or like your topic or whatever in Reddit, and a bunch of communities will come up, a bunch of threads will come up that performed really well. You can go in those communities and sort by like top or like hot or rising, and you can see what people are really interested in engaging in, or see like pain points people might have, or like questions they might have, or things that might be helpful to them, and then just like try to create something that would resonate with them, and that like use that as your inspiration, answer their questions, like in a not like directly, like you get a sense of what will spark discussion for them. Like for example, the seasonal one that we did was about the most popular Christmas movies overall and in every state, and we've found that doing targeting like state and city infographics. State and city subreddits is really successful, because people sometimes will have like a lot of pride in their state, or people just want to feel like special or called out, and or they would want to see if they're like in line with their state or different than what their state went with. Like it really gets people really heated at times, or just really passionate. Like let's say for example, and the seasonality was like a big part of this too. Like you just hit it at the right moment. It can really take off because everyone was watching Christmas movies during that time. Usually you want to start like a month or two before the holiday. Let's say for like an example, like this e-commerce company like sells like gifts or jewelry or clothing or whatever. You could do something like how much, like this will definitely spark like a probably arguments, but that's good. That's also really good on Reddit. Just you just want people get people talking and sharing, and but you want to like tap into their passion and curiosity. So you could do something like what's the average amount of money that people spend on Valentine's Day gifts by state, and then you can like conduct a survey for that information. Then you can visualize that information, and then you can make like a nice heat map or something that really like displays it quite simply and easy to like you can see right away when you look at it, like, oh, that state is they spend a lot or that state spends a little. And then you can go to those subreddits and share it there, and that would definitely like ruffle some feathers or make people talk. And just everyone, Reddit's very opinionated and they're very vocal about their because like it's an anonymous platform, so people can really let loose on that subreddit. And yeah, rage baiting definitely works on Reddit. But
well, it's not rage baiting. Yeah, I want to bring this up.
Not exactly rage. Go ahead.
It's because it's Reddit. Whatever you do there will be some rage. I guess that's that's the point here. Whatever you say, it's going to be rage baiting. It's just as long as you as long as you stay on the topic and you kind of very transparent with your methodology, with how you found those numbers and all of that, it's a legit discussion. I would say just on Reddit, be prepared. There will be some negative comments here and there, which is not bad because it is not going to be about your brand, but about this actual topic, and maybe someone will disagree. Things like that will happen, but it also helps these threads being more visible. And the beauty is that they are visible in organic search and they are visible in Reddit as well. So whichever platform a journalist is going to use, let's say next year by the Valentine's Day, some journalist will write about this topic or just generally giving presents or gifts on Valentine's Day, they are much more likely to find your research because it will be on your website, which is going to rank for that. It was going to be on Reddit, which is 100% going to rank for that. Or it's also going to be Google Images and all of that. But but the beauty is that it will keep bringing those signals next time this season is due. And we have clients where we have seasonal content that we update actually every year when it makes sense. Well, I think that in this case, movies probably are not going to change much. The preferences, because they're still oldest movies, are the most popular. So maybe in this case, updating it is not as good idea. But for many cases, you do need new data every year, and it's the same page being updated with just new information, new statistics, and it ranks. After this flood of backlinks, it will continue ranking for at least a year while the data is fresh, and then you can update it if it makes sense. So it's all very, very cycle. So it's not just seasonal. Just to make sure, I have another case study that we discussed a few weeks ago, and it is linked from my newsletter as well. That one is not seasonal at all. It is almost evergreen, and it still did very well. So it's not just, but seasonality definitely helps. I think after we went through this season, this year, it's a very good reminder to you. If you stopped utilizing seasonality for your marketing, this is your reminder to start doing that again, because it's always helpful. It makes everything easier, from outreach to social media spreading to Reddit seeding. It's always more discussions when someone is preparing for that seasonality, more searches for a particular topic, more interest for sure. So it just makes things easier. Many years ago, I think 15 years ago, so I wrote an article on how to use this recurring season. So it's not just new date every year. It's like something you can plan out 1 year ahead. You can make a list of holidays that make sense for your target audience and figure out what you're doing. It's very easy to plan out and very effective. And with that, we have thoughts on doing MAAs on Reddit for PR. We just did one for our client, I say like 2 weeks ago. It went very well, even though the subreddit is not huge, and we didn't cross-post it anywhere because I wanted all the discussion to remain with that subreddit. But I love MAAs. I think it's one of those digital PR. MAA existed for years and years. I think my first MAA was like 16 years ago or 15 years ago on Reddit, and I enjoyed it. It's some of our clients are worried about, like, what if they start asking personal questions and stuff. You can always direct the conversation to where you want with your title, with a description of what you're doing. You can say, well, this is too personal, I'm not comfortable answering that. So it's not like you have to be there answering everything. But it does help a lot. Things like, and for most of our clients, that's something we always recommend. Like, I have been doing this and this for 10 or 20 years for this brand. Ask me anything. It's the brand visibility, and it shows real people with real experience and expertise to your target audience on Reddit. It will attract a lot of questions, even if it's not a huge subreddit. So definitely in most cases, this is something I should be doing, and we are doing that for clients as well. And we have time for maybe one question. Let's do, how do you find communities on Reddit to share our digital PR assets?
Yeah, like I brought up before, you can just search like what kind of topic your brand is relevant to on Reddit, and then it'll tell you a bunch of different threads that have done over on Reddit, done really well overall in different communities, like right away when you search. Then you can go into those individual communities and sort it by top or rising or hot or whatever, and just see what's being discussed, or that's how you can find relevant communities. And there's really a community for everything. Like there's communities about every possible topic you can imagine. You can definitely find like a niche, and sometimes like sometimes the big subreddits you'll get drowned out in, and sometimes the little subreddits are just as powerful because you don't know what kind of journalists that are right in your ballpark. You know what kind of journalists are going to those little subreddits to find things to share about. So it's really, even if the subreddit's small, don't be discouraged by that, because you really never know who's going to be listening there. And journalists absolutely do that. They go to all sorts of places to find stuff. Just originality is really important. Like, especially in like with so much AI content being churned out now, you want something to be original, have a unique angle. You can like build up a unique angle by having various sets of data involved, like creating like an index. Let's just say, for example, like the most expensive state to own a pet or a dog or something, is just like an example. And like that seems like a really broad topic that's hard to sum up. So you can find little data sets that are involved, like average vet bills, average price of a dog, like average adoption fees, that kind of thing. Like how, even like you can get even a little more abstract, like how far away, like are there the density of dog parks or places for you to walk your dog. So that involves like how far you would have to drive to get there and that kind of stuff. So you just like create like a really multifaceted look at something, and journalists love that because it's original. It can't really be replicated easily, and it's just you want originality. You want something that you can ask yourself, like, would I find this interesting? Like, that's what I always do when I'm brainstorming. Like, what am I curious about this topic? Would I find this interesting? Because you're a human being, just like the people you're trying to connect with, and if it's not interesting to you, then is it really going to be interesting to them? I mean, I guess when you're brainstorming about topics that are not like in your field of interest, and that, but even then you can still find unique angles that like would be like, oh, that's interesting, I would want to share that. So just
I think
your best reference.
One point to this great tips to picking subreddits is that read the rules, and it's not just the official rules you see in the right column. It's also try reading a little bit of that subreddit and see if there's even like format or thing they will be interested in. For example, there are a few fishing communities. Some fishing communities love interesting facts about fishing, statistics, biggest fish ever caught, anything like that. But there are very personal subreddits that they only share fish they found, like their personal pictures, their personal tips. They ask for personal help, like how do I fix that? How do so there's never content like that. I feel like it will be an intrusion in that
Yeah.
community where they are there for a specific reason to help one another. They never share anything similar, and they will not be there. A very low chance it will be well received because this community is not for that. I think it is very important to keep that in mind. It's not just about the rules, which are easy to follow, and of course, by all means, do follow them, but it's also understanding that the style and accepted things that people want inside their community. With that, and Smarty.com is where you can find more details, watch the video on how the asset was doing, read another case study. Please subscribe. We have topics every week about different things, and you will be able to keep track of those. And I hope I will always try to make it useful and actionable, so it's not just news. Next week, I will start with a little digest because things are happening in the industry, and we need to keep to get back to kind of keeping track of everything that's going on. But there will be a main topic for sure that we will discuss and have some actionable takeaways from as well. See you next week at 1 p.m. Wednesday, and please subscribe benchmark.com. April, thank you so much.